Welcome to the Avid Dreams Podcast. I am your boy, international artist JASHAR. This is my co-host, little sister, Chanel. We're here with some new shit for you. Number one, Donda just dropped.
Randomly, like super random.
Dropped at 8 a.m. this morning. I just got some more news in. Actually, we already shot this episode.
Let's be candid.
I'm gonna be candid with you. We shot this episode. It didn't record. Slightly pissed off, but we're shooting another one for you because we really want you guys to,
we want to get it out there.
We want to get it out there. We want to make sure you guys is in the conversation. But anyways, we've been hearing more and more information about the Donda album that just dropped at 8 o'clock this morning. One song was added to it. I want to say like 11 o'clock or something like that.
What?
11 a.m.
I didn't know he dropped, like he put more on the album after it dropped.
Yeah, it was 26 tracks, and then he added the version with the baby on there, so it's 27 tracks now. And then
I didn't know he did that.
Another thing, Kanye West came out and said his label put out the album without his permission, so that's one thing. A girl came out and said that they sampled her on the album without her knowledge, and she's a little pissed off about that. And Soulja Boy just came out, and apparently he was supposed to be on a song called Remote Control. He has the receipts, he posted them. He wasn't on there, kind of pissed off. He said, fuck Kanye. He said, don't let this nigga call my phone no more. How did you feel about that one?
I think it's completely justified, especially because Soulja Boy's kind of, he's a hot topic right now.
Oh yeah.
And I think that would have been a really good look for not only, I think more so Kanye than Soulja. For him on it, because we discussed this, but I feel like Kanye is literally like clawing tooth and nail, like just clawing at staying relevant within the music industry. Mm-hmm. And he feels, obviously, this goes without saying, feels very threatened by Drake. Mm-hmm. It's no longer a conversation of Drake, Kanye, Jay-Z, Nicki, all of those people, Lil Wayne. Like, the conversation has completely changed now. And I feel like Kanye's struggling with that. Nicki's been struggling with it. We've been seeing her struggle with it for quite a long time. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been a really good look for Soulja Boy. To back up the girl, Shisha Shu, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, definitely gets litigation. Mm-hmm. And then also there was another point you brought up about him saying his album got dropped by his label early. Honestly, I feel like, and this might not be the case, but I'm gonna speak it how I think it should have went. I would have dropped it if I was like, bro, like, you don't control this shit. We funded you to do this shit. Right. Granted, he is a billionaire. He probably doesn't need the funding. But if you're under a label, and you playing games, I'm about to drop that shit when I want to.
Right. He probably did is he just said, yo, the album is done. And it was like, all right, bet. Let's run everything going. And then he probably came back and was like, wait, I want to change something else. And he was like, it's already in system.
Yeah, because they're going to have some kind of control over what's happening. That's why people don't like being on a label sometimes. They go independent.
And
they don't want that control factor.
He's not independent right now.
And he's not
still very much signed.
Then he can't really
And he still has to follow the rules like everybody else because he's not independent. He's not, as far as I know, he's not funding his entire, album rollout. They said that he made like $12 million off of the album rollout before the album even came out. But I don't think people took into account that he probably spent like at least $15 million to fund everything that was going on, like staying in this stadium for a couple weeks and renting the stadium over and over and over again to what I'm saying. He probably spent a lot of money even to put this together, getting a house built in the middle of the stadium, all that type of shit.
To be honest with you, I think I do think he's a creative genius, but it goes to a point where certain people hear that and they literally run with it, so they start putting his mental disorder aside. They try to expand upon that, and then it becomes to a point where it's chaos. Mm-hmm. And whatever's been going on right now has been very chaotic, and to be honest, pretty stressful on his fans. I mean, literally every move Kanye's been doing has been stressful on his fans. Mm-hmm. But entertainment's supposed to be an enjoyable experience, and they keep hearing new stuff develop where he's just switching stadiums, pushing the date back, all the stuff he's been doing, it's kind of like, oh, here's no, here we go again. Like, here we go again. Like, and you don't want to get to a point with your fans where they're like, oh, they're like rolling their eyes, like, here we go, like, just drop the shit, like, and then the beef isn't even really that entertaining because,
it doesn't really seem like Drake's entertaining it like that.
Well, because he doesn't need to.
He doesn't.
It's like somebody below you. Yes, I said it. Drake is better than Kanye right now. He's been better than Kanye for years now. Kanye hasn't been putting out stuff for a while. I understand that, but it's Drake's time. It's been Drake's time for the past, decade? And now the conversation has changed to where Drake is at a really, like, legendary status to where he is in the music industry, in the music atmosphere. I feel like he is definitely everyone's priority over Kanye West right now. Especially because of the subject matter we have been getting from Kanye for the past couple of years.
Yep.
It's not designed for the general mass.
Right.
And we kind of talked about this when we recorded previously, but there's a lot of Christian references on the album, which I thought kind of pushes him into a specific arena that isn't available to everybody, or isn't, I don't want to say available, but won't agree with everyone. Because of the religious connotations and everything like that. Everybody's not religious, especially in the social atmosphere we live in now. People are moving away from, institutionalization. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like as the label, I would have been cool with that. I don't know if I'm trying to like circle it back to what I was talking about before, but there's so much bad shit I have to say about the album that is just like, I just could go on a tangent because it's been, it's been long awaited for some time and he drops it. And my opinion on that is, we can talk about it in a minute, but like all the points you just brought up, all the animosity around it, I think everything's justified except him being like, oh, they dropped it without me knowing. At this point, we don't care. You dropped it, we got it. We were gonna get it at some point. You kept pushing it back. It's been a month. Like, we don't want to hear it.
Right.
Your album, like, it'd be different if it was like, oh yeah, I've been had it set up to drop October 30th. My label just dropped it early.
Right.
You late, bro.
Right.
Like, you're late to the party. Like, you've been set a date and you're late to that. Like, at this point, like I said before, anything goes, bro. Like, why are you...
Yeah, I feel like at this point, I felt like he was just finessing the label because the label is supposed to be making money off of the album. And I think he, not having the album out, was making all the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was putting out merch with The Gap where he got like $7 million from that. He was doing like, the sales for, the listening sessions, which everybody knows, like, artists make money off of touring. So they get the money from like the sales for something like that. Label probably hasn't made a dime yet. And they like, yo, we gave you they probably paid him the money to, make sure the album was done and all that. And he's just playing it around and he's not dropping it. So it's like they're not making anything from it. So it makes all the sense in the world for them to be like, okay, you said it's done. Okay, it's rolled. We're dropping it. It doesn't matter. Which makes perfect sense of why it drops on a Sunday at 8 a.m. Why else would it drop on a Sunday at 8 a.m?
It's like an executive probably got, I could totally see this happening. He's sitting there Saturday afternoon, gets a text message, Kanye wants to push it back to Christmas. He like, drop that shit tomorrow, bro. I'm tired of this shit. I'm done. Put it out. Put it out tomorrow morning. Like, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., put it out. I don't care. Put it out. Like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I can totally see them getting like, because now you're being irritating and everybody, the more you keep agitating people, they're going to be like, all right, whatever. We don't care anymore. Just drop the shit.
He just doesn't want to finish it the way he wants to finish it. And he added the baby verse in there. And then I guess he was talking to the baby, I think the baby earlier, and he thought that the baby's manager was stopping the baby from, giving permission for his verse to be on the album or something like that. Apparently it was the label saying like, no, don't add us another track. The album's done. It's out.
I feel like this is what pissed me off, bro. Like, I feel like he just added the baby for some, like, just to get a little bit more publicity for it.
Huh?
Because the whole animosity around the baby's name right now. He dropped from tons of festivals. He got picked up for that one boozy festival or whatever. Who cares?
It wasn't a boozy festival. It was a birthday party.
Somebody lied.
Performed in the backyard.
Somebody lied, man. That's fucked up. But it makes sense though.
You know, given it's not just like anybody's backyard, I'm sure Boozy has like a very nice sized backyard.
It's still a backyard.
It's still a backyard at the end of the day. It was not.
Somebody lied, but thank you for clearing it up. But yeah, I think that was for a controversial measure, obviously, to get more attention around the album. Mm-hmm. The album that is completely and utterly underwhelming across the board. I've listened to the whole thing. Underwhelming. It's probably the most underwhelming piece of art I've heard since Megan's album.
You ain't say that on the last recording.
It is. Like, I understand the artistic approach he has. He's trying to do a minimalistic thing. He's trying to be very simplistic in the way he produces the art. But there's like the way it started, the Donda chant. There's not much to say about that. It's a woman repeating Donda every, Donda. Hearing her breathing in between her sets and stuff is very distracting. But yeah, like I'm saying, like if I paid $20 and if it was the 90s, early 2000s when we were in the CD era, we were in the cassette tape era, you paid $20. Each one of those songs cost an amount. I would be very upset if that Donda chant was on there and I paid money for that. Because there comes a point in time where you're starting to do, you're trying to do the Kardashian effect. Mm-hmm. And that's what he's doing. You giving us the smallest, most minimalistic shit that didn't take you as much effort because you have 29 features on the fucking album. You didn't do most of the work for you to have those 29 songs. And the 29 songs ain't worth shit. They trash. There's no build up. And then it does build up on certain ones, it's underwhelming, or you're biting another artist.
Okay.
So it's the Kardashian effect. Like if the Kardashian, I'm gonna reference this. Kardashian makeup, all of their stuff, they look like inventory bottles and containers. And obviously, like a lot of the product that's in there is very underwhelming or bit off other brands. So it's like they're finding ways to just put their name on the most disrespectful shit and putting it out there and gaining money from it with little effort.
Wow.
So he's been around that family long enough, so this makes complete sense that he's starting to do this.
Damn.
He had us anticipating all of this. This is the Kardashian effect if I've ever seen it before.
I promise you, she wasn't this spicy on the last recording.
Because, but we have more developments too in between. We heard some more stuff, and it's really upsetting me too. Because, we all are anticipating this album. Mm-hmm. The Donda chant, I already discussed that. Sound like a linguistics class recording. Number 2, Hurricane with The Weeknd. Not much to say there. Didn't get I got the Weeknd effect, but whatever he was saying and the vibes of the song, wasn't feeling that. Did you like that song?
No, I felt like they didn't really match. Like when Kanye came on, it sounded like one song, and then The Weeknd came back on and didn't sound like the same song. I don't think they meshed very well.
And Weeknd was like 90% of that song.
90%. Yeah.
So it's like you didn't even put that much effort into that. And then the verse you had was underwhelming. You just kept spitting out philosophical things that you thought people was gonna be like, whoa, like you really said something. Like, no, you didn't say nothing. This is common sense. Everyone's a liar. Okay, we get everyone's a liar. We been knew this.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff that was just like he was trying to make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And then it's like even that one song, what was that, Off the Grid?
Yeah.
It sounded like, I don't know if it was a tribute to Pop Smoke, but it sounded like completely bit off Dior. Mm-hmm. And I was just listening to it I kept trying to place this sounds like exactly like Dior. It's all of that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is he for real right now? This better be a tribute.
Yeah.
Because you remember Doja had the tribute to Nicki, where she sounded like Playboy Cardi and Nicki in the same song. Yeah. Get into it, yeah? That's my shit. But she did that.
She said something about Nicki at the end of the song?
She said something about Nicki at the end of the song. Mm-hmm. And we knew what it was about. When she started rapping, I was like, oh, this sounds like she just, she just like, I like this sound. Like, you guys doing it dope. I want to do it. Mm-hmm. I want to do it for fun. I want to put it on the album. It sounds cool. Took off. Everybody, I see it everywhere now.
Yeah.
But it didn't hit like this.
Yeah, it didn't cut the mustard.
It did.
But it's like, the Off the Grid, it sounded like, he was doing something to, honor Pop Smoke's sound, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that sound is most related to Pop Smoke. But the problem is Pop Smoke isn't on the fucking song.
Yeah, Pop Smoke's on another song.
That doesn't even sound like Pop Smoke should be on. Which is really weird, but
Facts.
Honestly, I felt like the album was mid. I downloaded 3 songs out of 27.
10% of the album.
10% of the album, which is wild because I am a big Kanye fan.
Same here.
I have a lot of his projects. I still found stuff that I liked on Jesus is King, even though I wasn't about the idea of Jesus is King. I don't like how this album, even though I understood that he was keeping with the whole Christian vibe and all that, I don't understand how with this album, everybody still came in rapping about whatever they were rapping about. Everybody wasn't rapping about Jesus. And then on top of that, he censored the entire project. So nobody's swearing on this whole thing. So sometimes, if you don't know what the swear word is, you like, what did he say? What are you talking about? Which is why I don't like censored music like that. So on top of that, like if you're going to listen to this project, it's going to be censored. It sounds very mid, like I said before. Doesn't sound like Kanye's greatest work. Pop. I kind of felt like Jesus is King was a little bit better, even though this album was mixed better than the Jesus is King record. And I don't feel like it sounded rushed. It just didn't sound like the effort was there. And it felt like if he felt like he was going against Drake, this was not the album to put out. Because I guarantee Drake is going to put out a better album, which, by the way, he just said is dropping September 3rd. So we waiting for that.
Interrupted Sports Center's, whatever you call it, their broadcast in order to, that's some Joker type shit.
Yeah.
I loved that idea.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, we found out what the glitch was. We knew what the glitch. Like, we knew what the glitch was. You know what the glitch was."
Yeah.
Like,
Sports Center even tweeted about it. Like,
he slid somebody $1 million. Like, put this in there. And they're like, "Shit."
Let me fuck up
probably
the system
somebody
real
at
quick.
Sports Center probably did it. But
So now we got Drake's album coming next week. Way more excited about that, especially after listening to this, because I was excited for this project. But even though I think I woke up at like 9 something like this, I opened my phone. DJ Academic said, "Oh, the album is here," and for some reason I still didn't listen to it until it was like 11:30 noon. So the excitement was already lifted out of me because I'm already pissed off at the fact that you pushed it back so many fucking times. Right. And not only did you push it back this many times, you gave us a mid project. So you built anticipation for a project that wasn't gonna be speaking volumes. There's a lot of Kanye stans out here who's been saying, yo, this album is crazy. I did not hear anything crazy on this album. It was very mid. It wasn't a trash album. It just wasn't that great. It wasn't amazing.
Like I said, like it just gives a very beige, brown, and white vibe. There's no color. There's not really a lot of... There's passionate words said, but nothing elicited any emotion or depth within me. Jail, that was cool with Jay-Z. I love Jay-Z's verse. The other part of it that was a positive is I saw Shinsei on there. Mm-hmm. Love her. She's a Caribbean female rap artist. I would love that she was on. I thought that was super dope for her. I think it was a great look for her, actually. That was the peak of it for me, the album. But the album basically had a holistic, minimalistic...
Her verse was at the end of the album.
Yes, it was on the part 2, one of the part 2s of the song, which the part 2s did not change. It was just a continuation. Yeah,
that's another thing that pissed me off.
Like, if you're gonna do a part 2, mix it, remix it, or you got the same kind of tempo,
same idea.
Yeah, it was just, it wasn't worth even having a part 2.
Exact same track, except he added different verses on there. I personally... The verse that she's talking about was on a song called Okay Okay, Part 2. I personally like Part 1 because I really like Lil Yachty's verse on there. So he put out Part 2 because I guess he wanted to add more artists. So it's kind of diluted the song a little bit. If he had just combined that into one song, chopped up the parts that didn't need to be there, it would have been a lot better. Even with Jail. Jail had Jay-Z on there originally. He put out another Jail version with DaBaby on there. So it's part the 2? Exact same song on Part 2, but it just has DaBaby's verse on there.
What's wrong with making a 10-minute song?
He got a lot of 5-minute songs in this genre where this time we're in, where we're only listening to 2 minutes and 30 seconds of a song. He's got plenty of 4 to 5 minute songs on this album.
Then it felt like a lot of songs just had a 60-second intro. Yeah. And I was just like, zoot, like, let's get to the action.
Yeah, let's get to the meat.
Got to the action. The meat was not worth the meat was not
it
worth.
It was not worth the bust.
And then I was just waiting, even on Jail, like I was just waiting for the build-up, and then the build-up came at the tail end of the song. It wasn't even worth it. It sounded very, very primitive. And I was just upset because I was just like, yo, like the whole song actually sounded like it was supposed to be a build up towards like maybe the middle. even when Jay-Z came out, he could have switched it up. That would have been dope. Didn't do it. But yeah, like I said, like it's not a lot of, it's not a lot of emotion that it drew out of me at all. And I didn't hear one song that elicited happiness and inspirational for, creative growth. Or the complete opposite where I was just like, yo, like that's like, relatable. I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, that triggered me. Like, yeah, that got me heated. Like Eminem, I'll give a good example. Eminem on Nicki Minaj's song. What was it again? I don't know my memory.
Was it Roman's
Revenge?
Roman's Revenge.
That did it for me when Nicki came in. She was just like, "Is that what I get for putting you bitches?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. You're like, oh, like it's not like the happiness, but it's like that's it. Like that's the grit that you want. You don't get really that much grit on this album. And like I said, like he put a lot of stuff in there. Where he was just getting a lot of, very philosophical or whatever. But I feel like if he wanted to take an artistic approach to this and a minimalistic, more simple approach to the album, it could have been done a whole lot differently and been a more enjoyable experience. This was not an enjoyable experience for me. So out of 5 stars, I'm going to give this album a 2.
Damn.
No 2.5, no 2.25, no 2.15, no 2.1, like 2 at tops. And I might be rounding up for 1.9.
Damn.
At best.
Put it on the table. Like I said, she's spicier than the first recording. She way spicier.
But yeah, that's all I had to say about it.
It just sounded like a featured Kanye album. Like even
it sounded like a DJ Khaled. It was a DJ Khaled type thing.
Yeah, all the production sounded like it was done by everybody else, but with like a hint of Kanye's twinge. You know what I'm saying? Like the drums were hitting harder than Kanye's drums usually do. So it's like everybody else handled the production. He just came in, did this. He's got 29 features on there, and it sounds like he's featured on every album. I mean, every song. I think there's only 3 solo songs out of 27 songs. And those 3 solo songs are not the 3 solo songs that I downloaded. So.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a very strong fear there that's really painfully hard to ignore. There's just this fear there. There's no reason you to have that many features on your album. That's a fear in itself. You don't want to do as much work because you're scared you're gonna shit the what do you call it? The shit's gonna hit the fan. Like you're gonna do a shitty job. And the verses that he had, there wasn't a lot of punchlines where I was like, oh, like it wasn't. Like it was mid, like you was saying. Like it was very mid. And I was just like, okay, well that's why he added all those people because he needed some help and leverage. So, and that was a huge obvious reason. Like he put all those people on there was leverage.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say. There's not a lot to rave about on this album. Like I said, I pointed out the positives that I had. The whole premise around Kanye's album, everything that's been happening around it. I'm glad he was able to get some money out of it. That's a little I feel like he violated a little bit. Like he did violate. Like
he definitely violated.
But it wasn't a violation as in like, wow, we're like, oh, this is amazing. Like you violate, you taking all these people money for however many listening parts you had, and then the shit came out and it was shit. Like you violated the public, just like I told you, just like I said before, the Kardashian effect.
Yeah, hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Yeah, but
something that wasn't underwhelming was the Spider-Man trailer. That actually just dropped a few days ago. Mm-hmm. Very, very dope. We got to see like the appearance of Dr. Octopus from the first Spider-Man, Tobey Spider-Man. We got to see a pumpkin ball from Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man. We got hints of Jamie Foxx's Electro, hints of Sandman in there. And we got Doctor Strange wearing a very New York outfit.
Yeah, he needed some Timbs on, to be honest.
Puffy coat with his cape on it. He
looked happy.
He looked very happy.
It was good to see him like that. However, do you really think Doctor Strange would have did that? Like with how we know Doctor Strange, do you think what we know of Doctor Strange if he would have done what he did?
If you go straight from Doctor Strange 1 to this Spider-Man movie, I would say yes. But given the fact that Doctor Strange was also in Infinity War, and he was also in Endgame, and he showed different facets of his personality, it does not seem like something he would do in this Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, what he did was kind of a sign of, I can do whatever I want, is arrogance.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a little bit down a little bit, especially after the deaths they saw with, Endgame and everything like that, and Infinity War.
Because it seemed like too big of a situation for him to just be like, yeah, I just dabble in there.
Exactly. And then it was weird, like I was saying, like I said previously recorded this. There's no character development with Spider-Man. So the progression that we saw that you're basically talking about, we saw progression with Doctor Strange. He wouldn't do this after Doctor Strange 1. I could see it. After that, couldn't see it. Spider-Man has also had similar experiences, not counting any of the Doctor Strange movies, but we've seen what he's done in Spider-Man 2. We've seen he's been making a couple fuck-ups. Mm-hmm. And, especially in regard to, the Tony Glasses thing with Mysterio and all that stuff. And the one previous to that with Pigeon. Sorry. I call
the Vulture.
I call Vulture Pigeon.
She calls him the Pigeon.
He looks ready. But, yeah, like, so with that, like, even that stuff too, like, he's learned lessons from those. And apparently it has done nothing for his character. He is gonna be the same Spider-Man that I saw in Spider-Man 2, if I'm reading the trailer correctly. This kid has not grown up whatsoever, and that's not Tom Holland's fault. It's not, but I just feel like the writers are not progressing this character along. He's not growing up. He's the same character in each movie. And the same character is not learning lessons. And not learning to apply what wisdom he's already learned.
Right.
And we usually see that in Marvel movies.
We usually do. And
it's a little bit weird that we're going through this right now. That's why I kind of been a little bit privy, not really liking the Spider-Man movies. But I'm also, I'm not gonna lie, I have a precaution with the third one. Even with whatever they put in the trailer. If they don't put Toby and Andrew Garfield in there, like, I'm gonna be very upset. I won't lie.
Even if the movie is good, like,
you're in a multiverse and they not in now. There. Come on, you're in a multiverse now. You already had 2 other ones played. And you already did it in Into the Spider-Verse. Right. You already introduced the concept. Now you just have to.
Same company.
Yeah, you have to just act on it in live action. Like, why you keep debunking it? Like, maybe you should be like, oh, this is a good idea. If they don't do it, they don't consider it's a good idea. I'm done. Like, I will be. It's clipped for me. Like, I'm not. I know that's the last Spider-Man movie, but I'm done. The phase 4 has been a little bit shaky. Like, a little bit shaky. Like with WandaVision, they got the key in the ignition.
Yeah, it was at the beginning, at the end, it had that little high note. And then, we kind of went into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was like, and Loki was like, whoop! Took us way back up. And now, what if it's like, taking us back down again? Yep. And now we got Shang-Chi, which we haven't seen yet. I think it comes out next weekend. We're actually going to see that. Yeah. Super hyped for that. Mm-hmm. But
and the Eternals.
What if Shang-Chi doesn't take us back up so that the Eternals could take us to the next level? You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm already expecting Eternals to be like, dude, like, put us up there. Because the things we saw in that trailer, whew,
dope trailer.
Amazing.
Dope trailer. They should have made it
first. Especially with the Celestials. Ooh, that's going to be I asked JASHAR what he wanted the Celestial, that the big one with the 6 eyes. Mm-hmm. I asked him like what he wanted that creature, or I'm sorry, the Celestial to sound like, and his answer was hilarious. He's like, I want his voice to have so much bass in it that I can't make out what he's saying. I was like, yes.
You need the closed caption on there?
Yes. And then, like, whatever he says, we're like, what? And then the person's like, yes, sire. Like,
understood. You like
what are you saying?
How did you understand that? We need a closed caption for that.
Man, but I totally agree. We saw some awesome stuff in there, though, in that trailer. Yeah. It wasn't the first trailer. That's why I'm not gonna, like, already just shoot down Spider-Man. Like, they put some good stuff in the first trailer. I think the second trailer or the third trailer is gonna be where we get the meat and the the cream, the bread and the butter. That's where it's gonna be.
The meat, and we better have the bust.
Exactly.
I want the bust at the end of this Spider-Man. I want it.
And I feel
we've been talking about this since December on the podcast. Since December, we've been talking about this same fucking movie.
Yeah, we got like Doctor Strange to look forward to, Ant-Man. Like, let's kick it off. Yeah. We got Kang. Like, Loki was just like, he hands you the baton. Like, don't fuck it up.
Don't you drop it.
Because Loki was top notch. And now he has to pass the baton. And if I was the actor, I'd be like, yo, like, y'all got it. Like, keep on going. You know how the little races?
And the races, yeah.
You just, like, keep going because he's still in the universe. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I want to come in where it's, like, some crazy shit happening. Like, let's do that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're looking forward to that for sure. Super happy they finally dropped the trailer. I don't know when another ones are coming out. Obviously, it has to be within the next, what? How many months do they have? It's about to be September. October, November, December. They got 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
So,
wow.
I know. 2021 has been speeding by.
Good. This year sucks.
Well, they said that too. The astrologer said that. They said it. Actually, in 2019, they were like 2020. Yeah, you didn't like 2019, 2020, but then it turned out to be.
Yeah. And
then in 2020, at the end of that, they were like, "You thought 2020 was gonna be like the end of it? It's gonna continue right to 2021." We were like, "Come on, man, right? Shit is wild."
Yeah, it's been a shitty year.
Yeah.
One more thing that I want to talk about before we wrap it up. Hit to wrap it up, but I saw this this thing that I wanted to posting up on my story. It's from this actual group that I'm on Facebook. They were talking about marriage, and they were talking about what if there was a contract for marriage that lasted a year, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years, and you can go into marriage with somebody and you can cut it at the 1 year mark or decide to renew it. And everybody who voted on my story all said that would be dope. That blew my mind because I didn't think everybody would be.
You thought more people were traditionalists.
Yeah, I thought more people were going to be a little bit traditional about that. But how do you feel about that?
I think it's a great idea because I've been around certain marriages and stuff, and I just.
It's like you gotta call it quits, dog.
Yeah, like you just like and then one of my fears is like I'm gonna get tired of the person, and I know they're gonna get tired of me. Don't get me wrong, it's not just me like nothing's wrong with me. Like I know they're gonna get tired and annoyed at me too. Like it's on both sides, and you just have to make a decision. And I feel like lots of people decide to stay together because obviously divorce is expensive and you have kids and stuff. But lots of people only stay because of that contract. And the animosity around splitting. If you have you can renew or you can cut out either one, and then you can even have a talk like a year before the 5 year thing comes up, and you're like, where are you sitting?
How you feeling?
You're I kind of hate you, and you're like, okay, well we have a year to clean that up, figure it out.
Yeah, we can fix this.
And then by the time the 5 year come up, the 5th year, you're like, I told you what I had issue with.
You didn't fix it.
You didn't fix it.
I'm gonna have to cut the contract.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna renew.
And I think from or if you with somebody who just started getting into criminal activity, you ain't even used to be like this.
Right.
And usually, you have to, stick it out.
Like, straight up, you selling aspirin on the streets, like.
Bro, yeah. So I feel like it would be beneficial, but I just can't see America doing it. Like, I can see other countries doing it. Other countries have been very, very progressive about adhering to whatever new development we have in, the human species. Like, we have so much visibility to stuff. You could talk to somebody across the globe. Like, you have visibility to what's happening across the globe. You're aware of a lot more stuff, and the projection we're on, you cannot keep the status quo.
Yeah.
And I wish people are more open to that. They talk about we're all about progress, continuous improvement. It's not the case. You see it over and over again. So
you can even apply that to people who have been working at home for 2020, who now have to come back to the offices. It's like, if they could get the job done at home, why come back to the office and pay for rent and light bills and this and that?
For the whole group, when everybody could have just stayed, and then you could have saved that money and gave them a percentage off of that, added to their salary to help them with their bills.
Give them a bonus, whatever. It's just not that progressive.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
Because there's a lot of things that have just been progressing and stuff 100 years ago. Probably technology didn't even have to wear seatbelts because cars wasn't that fast. Now we have to. So I feel like we need to move into the future with the marriage contracts straight up. Some people, it's cool that some people are down. Maybe they have the marriage contract where you stay married forever like usual. And then they have the option to get these other marriage contracts.
I feel like that would strike up a lot of controversy in couples because they're like, I don't count to do a 5 year. Like, wow, you don't have confidence in our love?
Yeah.
You're like, it's not it. It's a contingency.
We'll just do 5 years for now. And then, if it works out, you know what I'm saying? Then
I think we'd be very surprised to see how many people would be doing that over the lifetime thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be pretty huge. Because we already know divorce is at 50%. Let's consider that. Let's consider statistics.
Statistics.
Right? Because the whole reason why people change stuff up is statistics. And that is like hardcore facts. We know, and I know divorce rate I think is lower than that now.
Probably because it's expensive.
But let's consider the statistics of everything. The divorce rate is the highest, one of the highest in America, I believe, if not the highest. And yeah, if we consider, you know, that, and there's a bunch of other ones I can ramble off, but I feel like it would be a contingency plan, and it would be the best case scenario for everybody to get the best, you know, outcome.
True.
So, but
I completely agree. I think we should do that with the contract. I just keep thinking like that'd just be like the most bomb thing ever. It's just, I feel like it would solve like a lot of problems in my life right now, honestly.
Yeah, I just feel like no lie, like I'm gonna be blunt. Like I just feel like there's a lot of people that are around now to date or marry. Like it's not like, I just feel like it's not popping like it used to be. People aren't, you know, working hard to utilize and be talented. They keep seeing their ancestors do certain dumb shit and they continue it. Like it's just, and then like the kind of society we're in now, I mean, if you don't like one person, I gotta find somebody else in 2 seconds. Like it's like that. So, and it's very superficial era we're living in too.
It is.
So it's like the people around you, I mean, it's not really a ton of quality people around either for me to want to be like, oh yeah, I want to do life with this person
Forever.
Yeah, like granted, I know I can meet like this guy who's just like amazing, he's everything for me. Like, you know, they were saying you're gonna meet the person, okay, I got that, but like obviously y'all meeting y'all people, y'all still like peace, like
right.
So it's like it doesn't really change the conversation.
Yeah, literally, you could meet the person that you feel like, oh, this is the person forever, and then 2 years down the line, completely different person.
Yeah, like you shot somebody.
Shit changes, which is why
People
we
change.
should change with the contracts. That's what I got to say. How do you feel on the matter? How do you feel? How about you let us know?
Yeah.
Hit us up in the comments. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and then make sure you hit that bell so you know whenever we're about to drop. We just recorded a second version of this because we really care about you guys. We really care. But we'll see you guys next week. Thank you again for your time. Avid Dreams Podcast.
Thank you guys. Love you.